Spielberg later said helping a close friend handle sudden stardom is tricky because success changes everything before people even see it. It came from what he went through, not from being sorry. The change was small at first. During Close Encounters, Dreyfuss got more intense. His confidence got bigger, his presence felt heavier. Spielberg was learning how to lead bigger and bigger movies with calm control. The friendship that used to spark fun ideas now had to deal with who was in charge. Talks about creativity got sharper. Choices felt bigger. What used to feel like exploring together started feeling like bargaining. No one big fight marked the change. It built up over time. Spielberg's way of directing needs emotional trust. He wants actors to jump in without thinking too much, to let real moments happen instead of making them. When Dreyfuss started wanting more say in his own work, that flow got messed up. Spielberg has said when being the boss and being friends mix, things get unclear, and a director has to guard the story even if it means less closeness. It wasn't mean, it was a line he drew looking back. After Close Encounters, they slowly went different ways. No big public fight, no drama to talk about. The space between them said it all. Spielberg kept working with actors who went along with his lead without fighting it, while Dreyfuss picked parts where he could have more say. Both did really well. Looking back, their time together shows how timing matters. At one point their energies matched perfectly and made movies people still love. Later, it just didn't line up anymore. Spielberg didn't leave mad. He stepped back because he understood that sometimes keeping respect means letting things get farther apart. And sometimes the best team-ups end not with a fight but with quiet acceptance. Number 4, Tom Cruise. This team-up gave big action and big wins. It never happened again. Cruise's huge public image and Spielberg's like for keeping things low-key made a quiet gap between them. No big fight, no drama, just two huge stars figuring out their creative styles didn't match anymore. In Hollywood, not saying anything often says a lot. When War of the Worlds came together, it looked like the perfect mix of big power and exact work. Spielberg brought a real, close-up feel to huge destruction, while Cruise came as one of the most dedicated actors around today. On set, Cruise's energy was impossible to miss. He pushed hard, not just for realness but for control over the feel, speed, and emotion. Spielberg liked the hard work, but his own way needed room, letting moments happen naturally instead of shaping them hard. He often says fear hits best when it surprises you, not when it's too loud. That idea quietly shaped the whole shoot. The movie did great with money and fans. People loved how the opening parts held back, showing destruction through normal people's eyes instead of superheroes. But behind the wins, the differences added up. Cruise's public side at that time got really big, taking attention away from the movie. Spielberg, who always protects the heart of his stories, got careful. He likes the story to be bigger than the stars in it. What kept them apart wasn't pride, it was how loud things got. Cruise lives on fast energy, pushing it out until it fills everything. Spielberg goes inside, building tension with quiet control. On War of the Worlds, their ways worked side by side but didn't really blend. Spielberg later said working together needs the same speed, and when speeds don't match, even a hit can feel unfinished. It was just thinking out loud, not hating. After the movie came out, people talked a little about maybe doing another one, then it stopped. No reason given. Neither said bad things about the other. Quiet became the answer. Spielberg kept picking actors who matched his calm style, while Cruise did projects where he controlled the feel and look completely. Looking back, War of the Worlds was a time when two strong forces came together just enough to make something big, but not enough to do it again. There was respect but not closeness, success but no next step. For Spielberg, that was fine. Not every team-up is supposed to turn into a long friendship. Some happen once and finish in their quiet. Number 5, Chevy Chase. They never even worked on a movie together, and that fact tells its own story. Spielberg is known for being disciplined and really caring about feelings, while Chase has a reputation in the business for being hard to deal with. No fight needed to happen. Sometimes not starting is a choice based on what you believe. Spielberg didn't turn Chase down. He just never invited him in. By the time both were super famous, their reputations were already going opposite ways. Spielberg feels safe for emotions, with quiet control and almost respect for everyone working together. Chase got known in Hollywood for being unpredictable, great comedy timing mixed with wild behavior. Spielberg has always said the mood on set starts before anyone acts, and the feeling is there before the first word. That belief didn't leave much space for mess that pretends to be funny. Chase's skill was never doubted. His early hits changed comedy in America, and he could make even okay material look great on screen. But Spielberg's movies need trust just as much as skill. He builds acting with patience, not by pushing buttons. Stories went around Hollywood about Chase arguing with directors, fighting with other actors, and pushing limits to stay in control. Spielberg never talked about those stories in public. He didn't have to. His list of movies shows what he likes. What makes this no team-up importer? NT is how on purpose it seems. Spielberg works with funny people a lot, but only ones who mix humor with being humble. He once said discipline isn't limiting, it's respecting the story. That's exactly why Chase never got close to Spielberg's world. They cared about different things. One wanted control through peace. The other loved shaking things up. There was no fight to look at, no bad movie to remember. Spielberg just decided not to try. In a business full of deals and giving in, saying no can be the strongest thing you say. Spielberg didn't try to fix Chase's wild energy or change it. He stayed away completely. That choice shows a big truth about how Spielberg leads. He doesn't fight against pushback. He works around it. In the end, this isn't about not liking someone. It's about fitting together. Spielberg's whole career is built on exact feelings and respect from both sides. Chase brought uncertainty that Spielberg didn't want to bring in. Sometimes the smartest creative move is knowing what to skip. And sometimes not working together says more than any argument ever could. Steven Spielberg's career gets remembered a lot for wonder, like bikes flying up to the sky and belief you can see on screen. But the teams that stopped, never started, or just faded quietly tell just as much. These stories aren't about hate or holding grudges. They're about setting lines, about trust given, tried, and sometimes taken back without any big show. In a business that loves loud drama, Spielberg's answer was usually silence. And silence is almost never by accident. What stays is clear understanding. Great movies need more than just talent. They need shared ideas, holding back when needed, and real respect from everyone. Spielberg kept his way of working safe by keeping his beliefs safe. And that choice shaped his whole legacy just as much as any of his movies did. Which of these or is surprised you the most? Share what you think. And if you like smart movie history told carefully, subscribe for more stories that hide between the scenes. It's tough and kinda scary when you can't even try to find some common ground with someone, and hey, we don't have to agree on everything anyway. Steven Spielberg built his whole career on wonder, empathy, and trust. His movies celebrate believing, in magic, in people, in working together. But even the kindest storytellers remember when someone lets them down. Not every team lasted under the pressure of his movie sets, his high standards, or even his quiet way of handling things. These stories aren't full of anger. They're about disappointment, broken respect, and times when the creative magic just quietly fell apart. Before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe if you like hearing the Hollywood stories that don't usually get told out loud. Here are the 5 actors Steven Spielberg reportedly couldn't work with again and why. Number 1, Shia LaBeouf. This was supposed to be like passing the torch to the next generation. Shia LaBeouf got cast as the future of a famous franchise, and he carried huge expectations into a sequel everyone was excited about around the world. But when he started criticizing the movie in public instead of staying loyal behind the scenes, something really important broke. For Spielberg, it wasn't about how Shia acted in the movie. It was about trust. Once it's gone, it's really hard to get back. Right from the start of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Shia's part was a big symbol. He wasn't just joining the series, he was meant to keep it going. Spielberg had spent years protecting the heart and feelings in his films. He believed keeping things connected depended on everyone believing in the story, the fans, and the team making it. He later hinted that complaining about creative stuff in public hurts that connection, because movies are made with shared duty, not by standing apart. On set, that idea created a calm focus. Number 2. Dustin Hoffman. Two big talents, two different ways of working, and one really tough shoot. What was supposed to be a fun trip back to kid-style fantasy turned into something that emotionally wore everyone out. Hoffman's non-stop intensity didn't match Spielberg's natural, flowing style. It didn't turn into yelling or fights, but it created creative tiredness, a team that looked good on screen but was quietly falling apart off screen. Right when Hook started filming, you could see the difference in how they thought about creativity. Spielberg saw the movie as an emotional memory, led by gut feeling and flow instead of strict rules. Hoffman came in with a super intense method that needed lots of structure, practice, and deep thinking about the character's mind. Spielberg later said performances need to feel real and alive, not built like a machine, and they should even surprise the actor doing them. That gap changed every moment, turning fun stuff into something way heavier. Hoffman's change into Captain Hook was super careful and took a lot of work. He worried a ton about how lines sounded, where to stand, and the character's inner thoughts, often pushing scenes past what Spielberg wanted them to feel like. The acting ended up famous and loved, but the whole process sucked the energy out. Days got longer, people got more tired. Spielberg, who always tries to keep wonder alive on set, ended up dealing with stress instead of imagination. The movie kept moving, but the fun quietly disappeared. What made it hard wasn't big egos, it was just how tiring it got. Hoffman's need to control things clashed with Spielberg's trust in things happening naturally. Spielberg always says real emotion comes in sudden moments, not planned steps. When those moments kept getting stopped or picked apart, the flow broke. People who worked there later said the set felt organized but worn out, kept going by being professional instead of excited. No one fight summed it up. Being tired did. Years later, Spielberg admitted he wasn't happy with Hook, not because of the actors, but because the way it went made him feel far from what the movie was really about. He said when making a movie feels like hard work instead of discovering something, you lose something important. It was a look back, not holding a grudge. Even with the stress, Spielberg never said anything bad about Hoffman's skill in public. The respect stayed, even though the wish to work together again just quietly went away. Hook shows that amazing acting can come from hard times, but it also reminds us that getting along matters just as much as being great. For Spielberg, the big lesson was clear. Movies aren't made just on strong effort. They live on flow, trust, and the shared idea that wonder shouldn't ever feel like a job. Number 3, Richard Dreyfuss. Their first movies together shaped a whole time in American films. But when success came fast, it changed how people act with each other. As power changed, so did the mix of being friends and being the boss. Spielberg later thought about how hard it got to handle real talent without arguments. Sometimes stepping back isn't pushing someone away, it's taking care of yourself. When Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind changed Hollywood, Spielberg and Dreyfuss were right in the middle of something huge and exciting. Dreyfuss brought smart nerves and real openness to parts that needed both being scared and feeling amazed. Spielberg, who was still rising, counted on that energy to make big effects feel human. But as fame grew, so did the tension.